You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, NBC Peacock soap opera fans. We have got your weekly edition of Days of Our Lives comings and goings. This is for the week of Monday, May 29th through Friday, June 2nd, and there are some big cast comebacks. There's a couple of possible departures. There's somebody who's back who's been off scene for a while, and there is a villain whose fate is up for grabs. We're going to dig into all of that. But first, please click subscribe so you don't miss any of our Days of Our Lives spoilers and updates, casting news, and all the things you need to know about your favorite streaming soap opera. So the big news for this week is the return of Sarah Horton. Linsey Godfrey is back on the scene, and she has got scenes with Judi Evans as Bonnie Kiriakis, and I also expect we're going to see some of Kyle Lowder back as Rex Brady. So are they back to Salem? Well, remember that Sarah Horton left town pregnant with Xander Cook's baby, and Rex had already agreed to lie and say the child was his. So there's more of this baby bump storyline. It turns out that we discovered that Sarah is still with Rex. She's living in his home. They are living together in Chicago, and it looks like he is back to his hospital job there. And it looks like Sarah might also be working as a doctor in Chicago, which she has done before. Bonnie Kiriakis is in Chicago, and she stops by to see Rex Brady and is stunned to see a very pregnant Sarah there. And immediately, it seems like Bonnie does the math and realizes that has to be Xander's kid, because the Rex and Sarah hookup lie came well after the time she would have gotten pregnant. So the question is, what is Bonnie going to do with this information? Is she going to head back to Salem and tell Xander, oh, by the way, I ran into your ex-wife and she is pregnant, looks like with your child? Or maybe Bonnie will go back and talk to her husband, Jasper Newman, and see what he has to say about all this before she starts running her mouth. We'll have to see. But the last time we saw Linsey Godfrey was March 23rd, and we have got scenes with her on Tuesday, May 30th. So buckle up for that. We also wonder if we have seen the last of Paul Narita and Andrew Donovan. Of course, Andrew escaped custody, and John Black had gone to San Francisco to tell Paul Narita that his new boyfriend had been kidnapped. I tend to think we might get one last scene of these guys, maybe where Paul's thrilled to see Andrew back safely. We might get a little bit of closure with them or not. Days might have just dropped that and been like, okay, Andrew's on the loose. But I do suspect if we haven't already seen the last of Paul Narita and Andrew Donovan, that will come very soon. And then those guys will be Christopher Sean, I always get that wrong, and Colton Little as Andrew. I think that they are gone. Also, if you thought that Maggie Horton was gone for good, think again. She is back this week. The cover story was that she had gone to Greece to be with Victor Kiriakis while he watched over his son, Beau Brady, who remains in a coma. Of course, John Aniston is gone from the show. Peter Reckell are gone from the show. This is just more off-scene descriptions of things happening. So Alex Kiriakis had encouraged Maggie to go to Greece to be there to support Victor and told her that he would take care of the company. And there was a big deal closing meeting set with Yuri, played by Josh Flagg from $1 Million Listing. And of course that didn't go well, but it really wasn't Alex's fault. And Stephanie Johnson tried to explain that to Maggie, but Maggie wasn't listening. She's had an extremely short fuse with Alex lately. So she is back this week, and so is Justin Kiriakis. We don't see him that often, but he has got scenes with Maggie, and he's raking Maggie over the coals for why she fired Alex. Will she back down? Will she give him his job back? We'll have to wait and see. No doubt they need somebody that is there to support her, but really, Alex didn't do anything wrong. Not in this instance. He's done plenty of other wrong, but in this case, his hands were clean. Also, Colin Bedford, played by Jasper Newman, escapes the custody of the Salem PD, and Sloan Petersen is furious about this. She confronts Ray Fernandez about this. Remember, she had agreed to be her brother's lawyer to try and defend him, although the case will be really hard because he was caught red-handed and it just doesn't look good. And it's also interesting that he fell off a roof and is able to escape. How is that even possible? But, people have these substantial injuries on soap. They get gut shot, stabbed, whatever, and they're walking around in a couple of days. So the big question is this escape the end of Colin Bedford? Is he headed back out of town, or are we going to have more scenes with this villain and with his sister Sloan? Is he going to face his day in court? It's very rare that Days of Our Lives holds court scenes. Every now and then they do something it's more like in a judge's chambers than in a full courtroom. Some of the other soaps, Young and the Restless and General Hospital, do full court scenes, but Bold and the Beautiful doesn't, and Days of Our Lives doesn't. So I don't expect that we're going to see a day in court. Heck, I'm sure Sloan is worried because if Jada gets the chance, she might just shoot Colin for escaping because of what he's done to her sister. We're also going to see the always excellent Kim Coles debuting as Nurse Whitley. Of course, Abe Carver has a head injury because Colin hit him upside the head with a rolling pin, and then he had, an aneurysm, a stroke, something happened, and he had to have surgery, and then he's come out of it. But for some reason, we are going to see Abe Carver getting really confused, and he thinks this nurse is actually Paulina Price caring for him. It's very strange. And then in spoilers for next week, we learn that Abe Carver goes missing. Does he wander off because of this head injury, or is he kidnapped? Is this new nurse somebody who is maybe helping out Colin? I don't know. It's very strange to hear that Abe goes missing, but that is definitely what we are going to have happen. So if you haven't already, reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our Days of Our Lives spoilers, casting news, all the stuff you need to know. And a quick rundown of who we're going to see in and out. Sarah Horton is back this week. It looks like Rex Brady also might have a scene, and we've got scenes with Bonnie Kiriakis. We've got scenes with Justin Kiriakis and Maggie Kiriakis, who is back after a few weeks' absence from the set of Days of Our Lives. We are likely at the end of Paul Narita and Andrew Donovan's run for their little arc to do with the Alamains and the Von Leuschners. We see Kim Coles back as, debuting as Nurse Whitley, and we'll find out if she has a sinister agenda. And we have Colin escaping, and we wonder, is Jasper Newman out? Is he going to go on the run so he can avoid his fate?
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.